Mr. Cater.
Here.
Mr. Geller.
Here,
Mr. Buckley.
Here.
Quorum present.
as you wish. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk,
Dear God, we thank you for all the gifts that you bestow on us. We ask for peace in the Middle East. We ask for cooler heads to prevail. We ask for wisdom and guidance in the decisions that need to be made today. And all these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
consent agenda is on the board. Make note of the opioid applications will be open in May. We just put that on there. Motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Question?
Hi, yeah, real quick question. Do the people that are currently receiving those grants, are they being notified that they have to reapply, or how do they know? that they-
Mark, you want to answer that?
It's on the opioid. We tell them it's a year process, so once that year's over, it's everything resets, so I mean, they have to reapply and everything.
So they're all
So,
there.
So it-
Somebody saying,
that's-
well, you tell
I
me.
mean, You know how it works, so you tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everything gets, is heard. Yeah, so we'll start the new process there now. On that, should we go and talk about that, or? we
Yeah, go ahead.
So we don't quite know the money, so, we got kind of, we had a lot of complaints that we weren't just spending all the money when it first came in, because the reason was, we wanted to build basically build that up, so that way we could build these programs out for how many years? Because how many times you hear the government or these things turn out to where, yeah, we'll pay all this money, then the money stops, and that's what we figure is gonna happen. Our top one right now is Janssen.
Janssen.
They went from being about
120, yeah,
130 a year, that's been on average to
122,000.
15,000 this
Yeah.
year. So this is why we did this.
All the settlements were
So I hope
uploaded.
people that are watching this, that called and complained and try to put horrible things about stuff, this is why we did this, for this reason, because you can't have a successful program if you can only fund it for 3 years. You gotta have this thing built out for a long time. So with that being said, we aren't quite sure how much we'll have this year, because it does scare us knowing that when we were budgeting for 130,000 from all these different companies, if they're gonna start turning to 15,000, we may not be able to reward as much as we have the last few years, because even though we built that fund up, we're still gonna handle that properly, making sure we can, keep this going for at least another 5 years, because there's no point in having these programs for people that had opioid problems and try to help them recover if we quit funding it within the next 2 years and spend all this money. So it will be less than normal with that happening already. So we'll talk to our committee, to our board, and again, our board is formed, it's outside of this organization. Harold and I sit on there, we're non-voting.
We're non-voters.
We just help organize everything, but we aren't allowed to vote. But we'll let them kind of decide the amounts as well, and we'll go from there. So if the public sees that it's less money being paid out, or that we're awarding this year, that's why, is because these are, it's starting to become less and less money coming in. So.
Any questions on the consent agenda? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, university.
Paul was at that microphone. That's not me. Thanks for having us on the agenda again. We love giving the report of the things we do quarterly. It's a lot. We have basically 6 pages of information. I'm welcome to share it too. I'm not going to cover it all today because it's a lot. I'm just going to give a few highlights. Starting with our 4-H youth, for the 25-26 program year, we have 132 individual members and volunteers in our system. That does not include any of our what we call spin clubs or group enrollment. Casey does a lot of work in the schools, and we group enroll those kids. So that's just individual members in our traditional clubs. So you'll be seeing a lot of those out at the county fair come this summer. A lot of those are livestock projects. Janet has done a lot of training in Show Me Quality Assurance. Speaking of the livestock, those kids have to go through a Show Me Quality Assurance training in order to show and sell their livestock at the county fair. So she's done that in all 4 of her counties that she serves. And then focused on this year on some officer training for our clubs. And so those kids that are serving as officers are allowed to go through a training, and she's done that in St. Francis County. Casey has done a lot of work here recently we had that big food drive, and we thank you guys so much for participating. It was amazing. This county very much stepped up and helped, and it was so cool to see the competition in the courthouse. And so we love doing that. We hope to do it again next year, so be watching for it. 2,200 pounds of food was donated to the community and various food pantries. And then with that also, she was able to serve 450 meals in Bismarck, and then also distribute some food at Goose Creek. As those kids got off the bus, she was able to distribute some food there. So, so it not only went to those food pantries, we really targeted kids, and they were able to take that home. So. Our livestock specialist, Mike, does a monthly newsletter. You're welcome to subscribe to that. He tries to do timely topics and makes it very short, so it's a short read. He's doesn't like to read a lot, and so he just assumes everybody else doesn't either. He's going to kill me for saying that. But he does that monthly newsletter, so feel free to jump on our website and subscribe to that Livestock Ledger. His work recently is focused around the Show Me Select heifer program. That sale is coming up May 8th. So if you're interested in that, please, the catalog is on our website, and you can find it on Facebook as well. He has over 50 questions. A lot of the questions he gets is related to pasture management right now. It seems like that's really ramped up lately. Katie Kamler has also gotten a lot of questions lately about soil testing and preparing the garden and plants. The big event for Katie Kamler in horticulture is the Garden Symposium put on by the Master Gardeners that was done in the first part of March. That was a huge event. Over 100 people attended, and she was responsible for putting that together. We had it out at Mineral Area College at the Tech Center. Moving on, Sarah Barks is our community health specialist. She helped with the food drive and the Soup There It Is program is the chicken and dumpling meal that they served, those 450 meals. She was a part of that. She's recently been trained in Alzheimer's education, and so she's done some programs at Parkwood Meadows. The most recent one was 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. And so she's really working with those assisted living areas as well. On the council, extension council side of it, that's where I work. We have our newly formed council. We do an election every year. And so newly elected members, Taylor Bullock, Britt Gross, Dolores and Jim Howard, Darren Gallagher, and reappointed Mr. Kerry Buckley, thank you very much. And Renee Baird and Tracy Stroud, representing Farm Bureau, is appointed to our board. We also have a newly appointee from MFA, Mike Belkin. And so they'll join the current members, and we meet monthly. You're welcome to come. It is an open meeting. Welcome to our new council members. I want to promote some programs. One of them is near and dear to my heart. We run the Century Farm program. And so if you know of somebody who has a Century Farm, they can apply and we will recognize them. Century Farm is something that's been in a family for 100 years. It doesn't have to be direct descendants. It can be aunt, uncle, cousin, and so forth. So it's not tied to just direct descendants. That application period ends May 1st. So please encourage people to apply for that. We have a lot of upcoming programs on our list here. We have QR codes to make easy access if you want to grab this. I have a few extra handouts. But some of the ones coming up, the Show Me Select sale, Missouri Women Owning Woodlands. That'll be out at Lakeview Trail at St. Joe Park. We have a master naturalist that's coming to, Sarah Higgins is our master naturalist and natural resource specialist. She's coming to talk about identifying common trees in Missouri. And then we have a gardening program that's happening in St. Genevieve, so close by. Get Healthy Through Gardening. Our prospect show for our kids taking animals to the fair is coming up May 2nd at the fairgrounds. We have an engaged neighbor presentation. I have a community development specialist coming down from St. Charles to present at the Farmington Library May 13th. St. Genevieve Garden Walk is May 16th and 17th. That's kind of a fun downtown St. Genevieve area garden walk, and it's a plant sale for their master gardeners. The rodeo is coming up May 22nd and 23rd out at the fairgrounds. Katie Candler's coming over to do a vegetable garden pest program, and that probably will be pretty popular May 27th at the library. And then we have some 4-H camps in the county fair coming up as well later in the summer, but I should be back to talk to you guys before then. Two things I wanted to mention. This is a little long, sorry. We have 2 scholarships that we manage out of our office. One of them, they're both for seniors. One of them is a Mackley scholarship. It's a memorial scholarship for our 4-H and FFA agriculture kids. And then we have the East Central Cattlemen's Association scholarship. So if you know of a senior who might be interested in these, please pick up an application. They're available online. I have 2 applications here. Please pass them on. There's been times where we have no applicants.
What was the first scholarship again?
The Mackley Memorial Scholarship.
Nice.
Questions?
Questions? Yes.
I'd just like to make a comment to Kendra and the commissioners of what all the extension office does. They go beyond that as far as customer service. I am associated with the Mennonites south of town. I'm kind of a gopher farm. And when they run out of methods of finding somebody, they usually let me do their running. And here, about 3 weeks ago, they come to me, and one of them had met a lady at an auction, and she was a farm specialist, small farm specialist, and worked with the university. And she gave them her card and said, if you need anything, let me know. Well, they lost her card, but they remembered her first name, kind of an unusual first name, and so that's all they give me. But they did say the auction was down at Fruitland Livestock Auction, so I thought, well, I'll check the extension office with being a university, and maybe they can figure out who it was. So I give them the first name. They said, well, what was the auction at? And I said, well, it was Fruitland Livestock Auction. He said, well, that's Cape County. We'll check down there. Within a half hour, they had her name, phone number, and everything. It was Lincoln University, who she was associated with. So I called her, and within 2 hours, she called me back, and she's been up and met with them and in that. So just thank you, ladies, for the customer service they do.
Sure. Extension's a small world, so.
Thank you, Dave. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very
Good
much.
report. It's my fault. I didn't get the information on this in time to put it on the slide. This is a 5%, okay, it's property insurance for everything we own in the county. It's a 5% reduction this year from last year. Got the, with terrorism, the policy will cost $128,348 for the year. Without terrorism, it's a $4,604 reduction. So the first thing we need to decide is, do we want to continue terrorism coverage on our policy?
So we continue it, it's 48, what is it with?
With
$100? It's 128,348.
348 with, and 4,604 reduction without.
Well, I think for that small amount, I think we ought to.
We have in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that,
I'll make a motion that we approve Chubb for $128,348, and that includes the terrorism insurance with that.
second?
Did we approve terrorism last?
Yes, we did. Yep.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Questions?
Well, I want to make one comment. I appreciate the main reason we had a reduction is that we finally got a handle on some of our equipment. Brian inventoried a lot of equipment. We took a lot of things. We were insuring things that were sitting on that lot for years and hadn't been moved. And So that's been cleaned up and we appreciate it. I don't know why it wasn't done for all the years, but it wasn't, so that saved us probably 3 of that 5% and our claims helped too.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kevin. Any other questions? All in favor of approving the Chubb bid, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Sole source for Tyler. It's ready. We're using the K-Tire for now, and there's a copy of the bill, and I pulled up some of the prices. For car tires, they charge $1.50. You see the idea of what they do there. I got some details on how many tires are generated each year in the United States. It's a lot. So, motion to approve them as sole source. And
Make a motion that we approve K-Tire for our tire shredding as sole source for the county.
I'll second that.
questions?
I got a quick, Brian, is this the ones we gather up on a grant and then we take them up north? Is that what
Yeah,
this is?
that's, we take and dispose of them at K-Tire.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Approve agreement, this is MoDOT's giving us Berry Road.
What do you think?
Berry Road was old 67, and now they want us to just take over, which we consider a county road anyway. So it's just the paperwork in doing that. Okay, motion,
I'll make that motion that we approve the agreement, MoDOT road relinquishment agreement for Berry Road.
I'll second that.
questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
We now on Berry Road. Okay, the bridge is open, Hallsbury Chapel. Comments?
Just right now, we'll be waiting to seed and straw it, and we got some areas we need to rip wrap around after the project's done just to protect the banks, but all in all, it's turned out nice.
And I've had compliments from residents.
Yeah.
Okay, Berry Road, not been seeded and mulched properly, we're talking to them about that. Comment?
Yeah, the portions of the contractor during this section when they did this, they had high winds and they was unable to get a good coverage of hydro seed on that bank, and you can see basically where the erosion has washed off that bank, and I think it's just, if we don't get something established, it's gonna continually give us problems such as that. That rock is probably,
It'll be kind of tough growing grass in that rock though.
Yeah.
It's,
so that boulder is probably twice the size of my pickup. We'll have to have an excavator come up with a breaker and bear the cost of breaking that up and get it hauled off, but
That came down probably because of the erosion.
yes, you can see up on the hillside where it's sloughed off and came down, but it's been an ongoing.
As you can see, it's got plenty, I mean, I've seen the state grow, grass on less, or at least weeds on less, so there's not, shouldn't have been a problem to be back already and have already done that, but that's what we're dealing with. And this is also good for the people that we get calls from, because as you see, the ditch is filling in. Our guys gotta go back up there and take care of the ditch, so the water doesn't come into the road and then ruin your road, so thank you, Mayor, for putting those up.
Just a random,
Start slow.
just a random question. I mean, that's pretty close to the road there. Let's say that boulder comes down the road and hits a car. Does that come on our liability there? How does, I mean, 'cause that just seemed pretty close to that road. A little scary to think that boulder could have came down and hit something. Does that come back on us, or what is that?
That's part of our argument with capital paving.
Yeah, so that should be okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a meeting with them next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why would the contractor not be responsible for removing that?
That's what we're
They are.
worried about.
Yes.
That's what, we have a meeting next week. We just wanted the citizens to be aware of what we're dealing with, because they see it and then they go, oh, why didn't you guys take
Yeah.
care of this? So yes, the contractor is still
Good.
liable for that, at least, for right now, so.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, you've got the solar cell started, so that's an ongoing process. Next planned meeting, right here next week. Correspondence? I got a very nice card from the lead local, and it was very complimentary. I appreciated their card. Any Sheriff?
While he's walking up, if I had several people ask about the elections. We had a better turnout than we expected by a couple percent, considering we didn't have all the mayor races. The only thing that we're gonna have to start emphasizing before August, I gotta get more people to vote at the First State Center in the Civic Center there, because I thought that'd be where 50% of the people voted, and we doubled the vote out on Weber Road. Now, I can handle about 2,000 voters a day. Weber, the voting centers, that's why we put them in gyms and big areas like out there at the Civic Center. We've got 100 parking spots and 10 parking spots right next to the handicap. I mean, it's and big room in there. We can vote up to 5,000 people or more at a time. We just need to divert, because I don't have the parking or the places to vote for more than 2,000 people out my office. It's supposed to be out in the office. So people have just gotten used to voting there.
Do you think people
The
are
absentee.
familiar with the change of that name of that building? Do you think that has something to do with it?
I think it did. I think so.
I mean,
But
that's what, in the last 6 months?
I think that, and some people are concerned maybe with traffic with the school, but that's only like 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon. We didn't have a problem. In August, school will not be in session, so hopefully that will divert more people to those sites, and because they all worked very, very well. It's just that not as many people that we thought showed up.
And maybe you may have done this, should we promote it as First State Community Bank Center, also known, or
Everything's set formally, team.
just to help maybe get their attention.
Unfortunately, like I said, I don't.
Makes sense for
You
school,
think,
though.
but that, we're adjusting the amount of printers and everything that we're gonna have, because if 40% of the people are gonna vote at my office, we're gonna have to make some adjustments on the amount of people we have working there and all that, because we had 50 people ready to work there at the First State Center, and not that many people showed up. I know you went over to college, and that worked pretty well over
That
there.
went well.
That could accommodate 5,000 people there, and the
There's a lot of room.
Yeah, a lot of room, and that worked real good. In our county schools, same way.
School was crazy. The schools had better numbers when they were actually in school at that time.
Yeah,
Crazy.
the schools in North County, a lot of teachers, that was something we didn't really plan on, would come, they came and during the breaks, even from the VOTEC Center and stuff, would walk over and voted, and so I had a little bit better turnout for some, a lot of those teachers didn't live there. They lived
Yeah,
in-
that's what
in
they like. They
Park
really
Hills or Farmington or wherever.
This is great.
First two people that voted at the college were from Farmington, that were teachers at the college that wanted to vote there before they started teaching. So you don't know what, and we had several up in North County that were construction workers from Farmington that were voting there on their way up to work, so they could get out of there 15 minutes.
Well, one of the girls at North County, one of the workers said that a lot of people from Farmington that was driving back from St. Louis
Right.
stopped there to
Right.
vote
Yeah.
because they thought that Farmington would be crowded, and they just stopped there and voted.
Yeah.
So did you have much uptick, or do you know, of the students that were able to vote?
Well, we got a lot more registered.
good.
We, in North County alone, we registered 10 new voters that day. Because the teacher that teaches that subject would bring them in. I think she brought 3 or 4 different groups in over that day and said, this is how you vote, this is how it goes in, here's how you present your card and all that type of thing. And while they were there, we
That's really cool.
signed them up. So we're gonna go ahead and do a sign up at all 3 of the high schools. And we had several volunteers from North County too that were using volunteer hours. They were excellent. They
Yes.
worked with you and you'd point them.
I gave my best away.
Because we had a lot of, the first time there, some of those people, even though they knew where the North County High School was, they didn't know exactly which doors to go into, where the best parking spots were and stuff, so they directed them the right way. Okay, thank you.
Sheriff?
Okay, some of our numbers, I don't want to jinx ourselves, but either my math is wrong, but we dropped about 100 calls over this last week. And that could be self-initiated. One of the things we did this last week was the department, all our deputies, detention staff that are deputies, all qualified or by annual firearms qualifications, so we were doing that. That may have lowered our numbers a little bit, but it's down about 100 calls, so we like to see that. So our yearly calls are at 5,878, and our weekly calls were 333, and I think last week they were 430, something like that. We dropped one in our jail. We're down to 136 for the weekly average. 108 males, 28 females, and really that's about all I've got to report. I don't want to say the word quiet, but it seemed to be a little bit more quiet last week, so.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Yeah, we just got busy this week.
Yeah, it's gonna pick up, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Road Commissioner.
Once again, as far as our Alderbury Bridge project is complete, we will be working out there doing some odds and ends, doing some riprap, some driveways and some ditch line. Our crews continue to work on Old Fredericktown, widening it, placing some crossroad pipes, and still doing some widening out there. Currently we have a crew mainly going through every bridge that we've got in every box culvert, doing some sweeping, getting all the cinders, salt off of them, washing them all down, getting all the salt residue off them so it don't deteriorate our bridges. Our north mower crew is out. They're currently in the Middlebrook area. Our second one group in the south is getting serviced and getting ready to go out. We placed a pipe out on Berry Road. We did some dirt work and riprap on Brightstone for a property owner. We hauled trash off from location off Double O Highway down there. Got rid of some waste material. Our inmate crew picked up 180 pounds of Valley Forge, 60 pounds on Hurryville, College, 20 on Westmeyer, Denman, and Copenhagen. Our sign work, we had to turn right and post on Old Fredericktown Road. Placed the St. Francis County stickers on our signs. We've implemented it and started going to, we started in the south of our area and started working those over so people can identify if you're in St. Francis, Madison, St. John. I know some of our roads might go into St. Francis, into St. John, and then back into St. Francis, so maybe that'll eliminate some of the confusion people might have. As far as pothole patching in the county, we've been on Poland, Holler Camp, Noblick Road, Madison, Oak Briar, Oak Ridge, and Pendleton. As far as our mechanic work, they recently serviced our grader. We had a mechanical issue on one of our Ford F-150s that we put the transmission in recently. It's still under warranty, so anything is they cannot fix, if it's inoperable, they will replace it, still under warranty. They worked on our skid steer, had some electrical wiring issues with the heater and AC, and I think they've got that resolved, and that's about it.
I want to thank your crew. They deliver. Our maintenance delivers a couple, but people don't realize when you're
talking about for voting.
For voting, when you're delivering all the equipment, they start on Friday, or have started on Friday, all day Monday, and then pick up on all day Wednesday, when a lot more time and effort and manpower at $100 an hour with 3 guys, when you're delivering to 20 locations all over the county, then the 3 primary, they took the stops, and that afternoon we're all 3 locations, we had them set up right after, but I appreciate them doing that because we don't have the equipment or.
That's not $100 per man.
No, but we have, with 3 people, when you figure they're
All together.
altogether, it's about $100 an hour to set and take down.
And then I wanted
But I
to
appreciate
remind everybody, I'm gonna do it probably every meeting at the end on the Veterans Memorial Service on, Rick Harris is working hard on this, and they're trying to promote the Veterans Service on the 25th. And it'd be from 11 to 12. And this guy is really putting a lot of effort into this, trying to get those numbers. And we need to look at that. So probably every meeting from now till then, I'm gonna be sure and help Rick try to get a lot of people there to thank those who served for us.
And there's a bunch of them to hand out if you guys wanna share them.
Just want to remind all employers, particularly office holders, that tomorrow is Administrative Assistant Professional Appreciation Day. Used to be called Secretary's Day, and we don't have secretaries anymore. We have professional administrative assistants, and so office holders in particular and department heads probably need to remember that tomorrow, and I certainly thank the the ladies in my office because they wake me up when I need to do something, and they do a terrific job of doing that.
So, if you're gonna get on the road here in a little bit, do you need to take care of the donuts for that office, for your office? You guys are leaving, aren't you, to a conference? Well, I'll bring them when you're here, but, I just wanted to let you know I'd help you out if you couldn't get them donuts tomorrow.
Motion to adjourn.
I know you're wanting to get on the road, but we can get it done. but,
Any other departmental reports? We take these on hold.
I'm gonna buy donuts for your office.
Any other departmental reports?
I'll make a motion with you.
All in favor,
I'll second.
aye.
Aye.